Everything you think you know about strength is incomplete, because the strongest
Everything
men
you think you
are
know
not
about
the ones
strength
who never break.
is incomplete.
They're the ones who
because
keep
the
moving,
strongest men,
even after
are not the
something
ones
inside
who
them
never
already
break.
has. They're the
For
ones
nearly
who keep
50
moving,
years,
even
Sylvester
after
Stallone
something
has
inside
been
them
the face
already
of
has.
resilience.
For nearly
Rocky
50
Balboa,
years, Sylvester
John Rambo,
Stallone
men
has
who
been the
refuse
face
to
of
stay down.
resilience. Men
Rocky
who turn
Balboa,
pain into power.
John Rambo,
men who fight,
men who refuse
and win.
to stay down.
But here's the
Men
truth:
who
no
turn
one
pain
sits
into
with
power.
The real
Men
fight
who fight
was never
and win.
in the ring. But here's
Never
the truth:
in the
no one
jungle.
sits with.
It was in
the
the
real
mirror,
fight,
because
because
never
from the
in the
very
ring,
beginning,
never in the
something
jungle,
was wrong. It was
he wasn't
in the mirror,
born into strength,
because from the
he was
very
born
beginning
into damage.
something was
A
wrong.
mistake during
He
birth
wasn't born into
left
strength.
half his face
He was
paralyzed.
born into damage.
His lip drooped.
A mistake
His
during
speech
birth
slurred.
left
Before
half
he
his
ever
face
spoke
paralyzed.
a word,
The
his lip
world had
drooped.
already judged
His
him,
speech slurred.
not
Before
misunderstood.
he ever spoke a
not
word,
different. The world
broken.
had already
And
judged
the worst
him.
part,
Not
that
misunderstood.
judgment didn't just come
not
from
different.
strangers.
Broken.
Came from home.
And the worst part,
his father saw
that
weakness.
judgment didn't just
something
come
to
from
be ashamed
strangers.
of.
Came
His
from
mother
home.
saw
His father
him as
saw
a problem.
weakness. Love
Something
wasn't
to be
given
ashamed
freely.
of.
It was
His mother
conditional.
saw
And
him as a
sometimes
problem.
It wasn't
Love
there
wasn't
at all.
given freely.
When his parents
it was conditional.
separated.
And
Whatever
sometimes,
stability existed,
not because he became
disappeared.
famous, he was
but
passed
because
around.
he refused
Different homes,
to disappear.
different schools,
No real place to belong. No place that felt like his. And school was worse. Kids mocked his face, his voice. Teachers assumed he was slow. Different meant lesser. And slowly, he started believing it. Anger replaced words. Fights replaced explanations. By his teenage years, he wasn't just hurt. He was furious. Expelled again and again. Not because he lacked intelligence, but because rage was the only language left. 16. He was sent away to a boarding school in Switzerland. Not for opportunity, but to get rid of him. And there, everything collapsed. Isolation. Silence. No friends. No support. No future. For the first time, he thought about ending it. Not dramatically, quietly, like disappearing wouldn't matter. But something stopped him. Not hope. Not motivation. Just stubbornness. A refusal to prove the world right. So he stayed. And eventually, he came back. With nothing. No money. No degree. No connections. Just a damaged face. And an impossible dream. He wanted to be an actor. A profession built on being seen. He had spent his entire life being rejected for how he looked. And still, he chose it. Reality hit hard. Rejection after rejection. People didn't listen. They laughed. They dismissed him in seconds. His face was wrong. His voice was wrong. Everything about him was wrong for Hollywood. So he did whatever he had to do. Cleaning cages at the zoo. Sleeping in bus stations. Selling his belongings. Just to survive. And then, he hit bottom. He had to sell his dog. The only companion he had. For $50. That moment broke him. Because it wasn't just a dog. It was the last thing that didn't judge him. By his late 20s, he was invisible. A man nobody believed in. Living day to day. Barely holding on. Until one night changed everything. He watched a boxing match. A fighter nobody expected to win. But he didn't quit. He took every hit and kept standing. And in that moment, Stallone saw himself. Not a champion. Not a star. Just a man who refuses to go down. That night, he wrote, for 3 days straight. No sleep, no food, just pain, turning into words. And from that pain came a story. Rocky. Not fiction. Truth. A man who loses, but keeps fighting anyway. The script changed everything. Offers came in. Money he had never seen before. But with one condition. He couldn't play the role. They wanted a real actor. A safer face. A better voice. He was told to take the money and walk away. But he understood something. If he gave up that role, he gave up himself. So he said no. Again and again. Even when he was broke. Even when it made no sense. Because without him, Rocky wasn't real. And without Rocky, he had nothing. Eventually, they gave in. But at a cost. Low budget. Low pay, high risk. If it failed, he was done. Filming was brutal. Cold streets, real punches, no safety net. But something was different. For the first time, he wasn't pretending. He was telling the truth. And when the film released, everything changed. Rocky became a global phenomenon. Hundreds of millions earned. Oscars won. And overnight, the man nobody believed in became a symbol. Proof that persistence wins. But success doesn't erase pain. It hides it. Behind the scenes, pressure grew. Expectations, injuries, the need to always be strong, always be bigger, always be unstoppable. And slowly, that image became a prison. Then came the fall. The 90s hit, and everything changed. Movies failed. Critics mocked him. Hollywood moved on. The same man who was once untouchable was now irrelevant. Offers disappeared. Money problems grew. The world turned its back. Again. But this wasn't new. He had been here before. And just like before, he didn't quit. He went back to writing, back to truth, back to himself. And just when things started to recover, life hit harder than ever. His son died. And in that moment, nothing mattered. Not fame, not money, not legacy, just loss. The kind that doesn't heal. The kind you carry forever. He didn't speak, didn't explain. Because some pain has no language. He kept working, not to succeed, but to survive. And when he returned to the screen, something had changed. The performances weren't acting anymore. They were real. Every look, every silence, every line carried truth. Now, at nearly 80, the world sees a legend. But that's not the full story. Because behind the image is a man who was called broken before he could speak. A man who lost everything, more than once. A man who kept going when stopping would have been easier. Because real strength isn't about winning. It's about continuing. Even when nothing gets better. Even when the pain stays. Even when the world forgets you. And that's why his story matters. Not because he became famous, but because he refused to disappear.